programs, but more importantly, they become part of a family. And, you know, I'm thrilled to death that we've been able to do things like that at, you know, pennies on the dollar to help people. And that's what we're going to continue to do. I have no plans to retire. I mean, I'm approaching next year, my 10th year doing Coast to Coast. And, you know, I'm going to keep doing it until one day we go to a commercial break and my producer, Tom Danheiser, comes on the air and says, George just passed away. That's the way I want to go out.
Oh, man, that's an amazing way to put it. Well, that's what passion is all about, and so you'll probably live to be about 100 if that's your view of the world.
I'm already 100.
Look, oh, yeah, you've got a long way to go to 100, so do I.
We'll get there.
George, out of all the shows you've done, what are some of your favorites?
Oh, you know what? I love them all. I can't pick one because I enjoy every one. They're all different for me. And I learn all the time. Alex, I got to tell you, when I first started doing Coast to Coast, people were talking about, you know, a one-world government or talking about you. I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. I studied it myself. This program has been a learning curve for me, too. And so the audience comes along with me for one heck of a ride, and we're going to learn something tonight, whether we talk to a physicist or a psychic or a paranormal investigator. You name it, we'll do it. You know, I had a great time Monday night on our Ghost to Ghost Halloween show. And it was fun to hear these kinds of stories from people, but at the same time, the next day or two, I'm talking about the possibility of war with Iran. That's important to me, too.
Well, George, put it to you this way, because that's a great answer, but what is your favorite topic? I mean, does it change day to day? But what area of the investigation of reality, the search for truth, the search for the mysteries, what area, you know, is the most exhilarating, the most exciting for you?
You know what? I cannot be specific, Alex, and that's the God's truth. I love them all. I mean, I love alternative medicine. I love making sure that people can heal themselves with natural things. I like the fact that you have Bigfoot investigators that go out. They're trying to find Bigfoot. So, you know, every show that we do, I find fascinating. So if you were to say to me, as you've just done, what's your favorite topic? They all are. My favorite topic is doing Coast to Coast. It purely, simply, that's what it is. Well,
I've got to say this. I mean, few people, I'm so honored to get to actually interview George Norrie. I know George doesn't do a ton of interviews. He does speaking engagements. But we're talking to somebody who really actually talks to tens of millions of people a day, soon to be the biggest radio show in the world, to eclipse Rush Limbaugh. And I think if you have the internet in and everything else, you're probably bigger. But as you were saying, you were within a, you know, just a hair's breadth. You have 559 stations. In many areas, you have more than half the total radio listening audience. I mean, in this universe of fractured media and a million different choices, George Norrie has just done incredible things, and his AM radio has gone through changes and decline in audience. You've only increased. And Art Bell's a master of radio. I mean, even when I agreed with him or disagreed with him, the voice, the way he really was in the room with you, nobody can top that. But to see you take the show and top it in other ways and to take it even further, I mean, it's no brag, it's no fact, it's no butt-kissing here, George. I just marvel at your professionalism and how you just deliver insightful questions, how you draw out things, and how you've taken that show that, I mean, people were marveling, nobody could top. And I've got to say, you've taken it 2 or 3 or 4 different levels. I mean, back 8 years ago, when you started interviewing myself and others, you've been doing it 10 years now, but 8 years, 9 years ago when you fully took it over, George, and I always talk about this because it's so true, no one on a forum like that you could call mainstream was covering alternative things that were in the back alleys of the internet. And that's what I want to close this out with, and any other points you want to raise. Why did you decide, not just with Alex Jones, because you've told that story, but with other people, to take the risk? You know, here you are, you've got one of the most powerful platforms in the world, and to go in a direction and model States Health Emergency Powers Act. I was only reaching 300, 400, 500,000 people a day then, not 2, 3 million. I mean, I couldn't say I beat that. Everybody I talked to in 2002, 2003, with a public government plan to prepare for forced inoculations, you were the show that overturned that. You had to have heat on you for that. I mean, so many things that you literally trailblazed on with a platform that big. A, why did you do it? B, how did you, I mean, I know that they don't tell you what to say or do, but I guess, I mean, this is a international platform. How did you cover such topics when no one else had been able to do it before?
I realized, Alex, that it was the right thing to do. I had to get to a point where I said, this is more important than money. It's more important than my career. And I'm going to do what I think is the right thing to do. And God help me, if it doesn't work for me, then I'm toast here. But if it does work, it gets bigger and stronger, and that's what we're going to do. And I did it. And I don't know if I was lucky or fortunate or divine providence stepped in, but it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and people now realize that, they have to have this coast-to-coast fix because every day it affects people in some form or fashion, whether it's a truck driver who's carrying cargo to keep this country going, or a security guard, or a great cop, and there are a lot of good ones out there in spite of what we see sometimes in the media. There are a lot of great people out there that are looking for some answers for their own specific lives, and that's what I want to do, and that's my mission.
Well, that's beautiful. So I've heard you speak of this, but in other subjects. Basically, George Norrie goes with his gut. Your gut said, go out on the limb, and that's the success story that you put it all on the line. Here you are, after decades, winning the highest awards in TV, radio. You've got the big national show, and you take it in a new direction, basically a 90-degree turn. You still covered a lot of the same issues, but added all this in and really took on serious, pertinent political issues. That's why, I've got to give you kudos. And folks know I don't just hand out kudos. If I say it, I mean it. George, you have put a mark on the world. I cannot tell you how many people I hear talk about Coast to Coast AM and the topics you cover, and George Norrie. How many people who have made connections and woken up through what you're doing. It is, for me, I've learned the New World Order, the root of all evil is not the love of money. That's how they sell out ignorant people, is for the love of money. The true Illuminati, dark ones, they are into the souls and minds and psyches, and they believe in the psychic power, from my research, of sucking energy and lying and shuttering minds. But as your book, and as your name means, Worker in the Light, one of your last books, the power of unlocking minds, that's my gold. That's my treasure. That's what I seek. And I think we are on the same wavelength. Correct me if I'm wrong. You get a thrill out of speaking truth and unlocking minds.
I do. And I just love the fact that we can help people as we do it. And to me, it's worth it. Alex, I hate money. I can't stand it. But whatever I do make, I help people that I care about, whether it's family members or friends or a lady who calls the show and can't make her mortgage payment. That's what it's all about. That's what we're here for. And I have learned a long time ago that for every good deed you do, it comes back to you by 5 or 10. For every bad deed you do, the same thing happens. So you know what? I'd rather help people than get the other side.
Well, sure, as a good person, you spiritually are that way anyways, but I learned that too. That's what they say about God-fearing. God-fearing means universe-fearing. I would be, not that I would like to do it, but I would be scared to do things wrong consciously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is just unconscionable to me to see other people get hurt by these people, these egomaniacs, these lunatics, these greedy son-of-a-guns who are out there doing what they do. I just don't understand it. I don't understand how the globalists, who have more money than we'll ever need, want more. It just defies logic.
Incredible. George, I know you always come on when I drag you on here and then never even plug what you're doing, but tell us about the new book, how folks get us. Tell us about the website. Tell us about the work you're doing, because supporting alternative, truthful media again, is an example to others who are afraid to tell the truth. George Norrie is an example. My show is an example to others. We hit the barbed wire so others can come along later and tell the truth. So it's very important to spread the word and support the work of George Norrie. George, tell us again about coasttocoastam.com, your own sites, the books. Give folks a plug.
Well, very quickly, coasttocoastam.com, and you got to put the 2 in there. Coasttocoastam.com. That's our main website. You can go up there and become one of our Twitter followers or our Facebook friends, where we'll send you information as often as possible. Our latest book that we have out there now is called Talking to the Dead. It's a great book about people's obsession with communicating with the other side. It's in every major bookstore, but if you want a discount and you can wait a week to get it, go to Amazon.com and enjoy yourself. And everybody, I hope they all have a wonderful holiday, Alex. I'll be live on Thanksgiving night. That's another thing we do. I made a pledge a long time ago to our audience that if a holiday falls on a regular working day, I'm going to work it. I'm not taking the night off, and I make sure that we've done it. And I haven't missed one holiday that has fallen on a regular work day yet. And I think a lot of people who are lonely out there, who don't have families, appreciate that.
Haven't you even done Christmas?
Oh, yeah. Any Christmas that falls on a work day, I will do. And this coming Christmas, one of my weekend guys, it's on a Sunday, George Knapp will be on. So, and I made sure that if he was taken off, because I was prepared to come on, there's no way we're going to do a taped program on a holiday. But the following New Year's Day, January 1st, I'll be live. I'm coming back from vacation that week. I get 3 weeks, I only take 1. I'll be live on January 1st because, again, the pledge is if we're working a regular day and it happens to be a holiday, it's a live show.
Well, that was my question I wanted to ask you. But, I mean, right there is the evidence of the passion. I'm the same way. I have to make myself take off just to see my family. The passion of the honor, big obnoxious hillbilly that I am, to be able to talk to people. The honor to be able to come on your show next Monday night is just incredible. There was some question I said I was going to ask you, but I'd get to it later, and now I don't remember what it was. Do you remember, George?
Was it about the globalists? Was it about...
That was what it was. That's what it was about. Again, I don't get into religious groups. I think everybody's great, whatever. I'm not into bashing groups, so I hate to even mention this, but it is a political statement. What do you make of the Vatican endorsing a global currency, a global bank? I mean, that was just incredible last week.
Well, if it's their bank, I think they'll be even happier. I am not a fan of organized religion, Alex. I'm a believer in God, and I think everybody deserves to worship. And look, I was raised a Catholic, and I'm not knocking the religion. But what I'm saying is that there are human beings in every aspect of this planet, and they are greedy and egotistical, and they do things that are not very good. And, whether it's in, religion or politics, they're out there. And the name of the game right now is consolidation. Let's put this planet under one roof. And that's what they're all trying to do.
Yeah, how do you fight a parking ticket when it's going to somewhere in Europe, to The Hague? But, again, exactly, it's not about Catholic, Protestant, Muslim, Jewish, any of this stuff, or atheist. The point is, it's Time Magazine, Newsweek, CFR, all these groups are calling for global government, and I'm just saying, hey, we told you so.
I had a problem with a credit card a few weeks ago, so I called my credit card company. I just wanted to check something out, and they routed me somewhere to some other country, somewhere. And it's obvious. I've talked to enough people. I know accents. And this person is trying to figure out what's wrong, and I'm trying to explain to them what's wrong. And it was a nightmare. I was on the phone for an hour, and I didn't get anything done. And I said, you know what? This entire planet is just topsy-turvy. I think we need to have, autonomy, individual countries. Yes, step in and help people. I think we should be helping the people in Mexico who are so oppressed. They have to sneak across the border for fear of getting killed in order to make a few bucks to send back to their families. I think as a country, we need to help these other countries in some form or fashion, but not when the dictators take the billions in aid that we send to them.
Well, you're exactly right again, and Mexico is just a totally failed state, completely imploding. That is the last question. I'll let you go to get some sleep or get ready for your big show tonight. That's